No one is more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they are free. These words were written by Goethe nearly 200 years ago, but they may be more relevant today than they were when he wrote them. Many assume we live in a free society simply because the West hasn't turned into the dystopian hellscape described in 1984 by George Orwell. Most people believe that freedom would be something obvious, something everyone would immediately recognize. But is that true? Or are we living in a society more akin to the one portrayed by Aldous Huxley in Brave New World? Could it be that technology, drugs, pornography, and other pleasurable distractions have created a population so distracted that they don't even notice the chains that bind them? When Brave New World was first published in 1931, Huxley didn't see the dystopian world he described as an imminent threat. However, 3 decades later, after World War II, the spread of totalitarianism, and major advances in science and technology, Huxley changed his mind. In a speech given in 1961, Huxley issued the following warning: in the future, according to Huxley, the ruling classes would learn that controlling a population could be achieved not just through force, but also through a more subtle method, by drowning the masses in a never-ending supply of pleasurable distractions. But how could pleasure be used to deprive people of their freedom? To answer this, we need to talk about operant conditioning, a method used to modify behavior. In the 20th century, Harvard psychologist B. Skinner conducted a famous set of experiments testing different ways of introducing new behaviors in rats. These experiments demonstrated how ruling forces could condition humans to love their servitude. In one set of experiments, Skinner used positive reinforcement, providing food to the rat whenever it performed the desired behavior. In another set, he attempted to weaken or eliminate certain behaviors through punishment, applying a painful stimulus when the rat performed an undesired action. The behaviors reinforced through pleasure, rather than pain, tended to be stronger, longer-lasting, and led to permanent changes in behavior. Huxley was aware of Skinner's experiments and understood their socio-political implications. In Brave New World and in his later works, Huxley predicted the rise of a ruling oligarchy that would conduct similar experiments on humans, conditioning docility and minimizing the potential for civil unrest. Skinner, like Huxley, also understood the social implications of his experiments. However, unlike Huxley, Skinner believed that operant conditioning could be used by social engineers for the greater good, leading to the development of a scientifically managed utopia. Yet, a passage from Skinner's book Walden 2 reveals that such mass conditioning would actually lead to a pernicious form of tyranny, one where the masses would be enslaved but feel free. In Brave New World, the primary reward used to condition submission through positive reinforcement was a superdrug called Soma. The world controllers encouraged the systematic use of drugs among their citizens for the benefit of the state. Soma was consumed daily by the citizens of Brave New World because it provided what Huxley called a vacation from reality. Depending on the dosage, it could induce states of euphoria, pleasant hallucinations, or act as a powerful sleep aid. It also helped to increase suggestibility, making propaganda more effective on the population. But the world controllers of Brave New World did not rely solely on Soma. Sexual promiscuity was promoted by the state as another tactic to ensure that people enjoyed their servitude. The slogan, "Everyone belongs to everyone else," was ingrained in citizens from childhood. With the institutions of monogamy and family abolished, everyone was free to satisfy their sexual impulses without restriction. This constant access to sexual gratification ensured that citizens were too distracted to pay attention to the reality of their situation. State-sponsored entertainment also played a crucial role in creating Brave New World's painless concentration camp. What Huxley called endless distractions of the most fascinating nature were used by the state as political tools, to drown the minds of citizens in a sea of irrelevance. The parallels between Brave New World and modern societies are undeniable. In Brave New World Revisited, published in 1958, Huxley asked himself, how would future social engineers convince their subjects to take drugs that would make them think, feel, and behave in the desired way? His conclusion, most likely, it will be enough just to make the pills available. Today, it is estimated that 1 in 6 Americans take some form of psychotropic drug. An opioid crisis has spread across the West. The ability to satisfy sexual impulses online has led many into pornography addiction. And smartphones and other technologies provide pleasurable distractions that consume most of people's attention for most of the day. To what extent these diversions are intentionally pushed on us, and to what extent they are simply a response to consumer demand, is unclear. But regardless of the answer, the reality is that a distracted and mentally weakened population lacks the ability to resist its own enslavement. Until the modern cry of, "Give me television and burgers, but don't bother me with the responsibilities of freedom," is replaced with, "Give me liberty or give me death," freedom will not prevail. On the contrary, so long as people trade their freedom for pleasure and comfort, the kind of social conditioning that Huxley warned about will only become more refined and effective. As technologies advance and more data is gathered on how to predict and control human behavior, we may soon reach a crossroads. Will we be able to resist this kind of manipulation? Or will we even want to? If current trends continue, humanity may soon be divided into two groups, those who welcome their pleasurable servitude and those who choose to resist it, not just to preserve their freedom, but to preserve their humanity. As former slave Frederick Douglass observed in the 19th century, long before Huxley wrote Brave New World, when a slave becomes a happy slave, he has effectively renounced everything that makes him human.